Welcome back to Spillane Field. Devin Dobeck, Tim Foley with you here for Game 2 as Harwich able to sneak out a 3-0 victory in Game 1. Set to lead things out is David Smith. He's back in that leadoff spot for Coach Englert's Mariners, and he's quickly down on the count 0-2. Jonathan Brand out of Auburn doing the pitching, 5'9", 200 pounds, senior there. This is his third appearance. He's thrown 9 complete innings, allowed 5 hits, and 2 earned runs with 8 strikeouts. The 0-2 misses outside, and now Smith is staying alive at 1-2. We'll get into defense and lineups in just a moment here. On deck is once again Tommy Seidel. The pitch. This one chopped over to Hausinger, takes a high bounce, he snares it out of the air. Funky bounce off the lip, but he grabs it and puts it away for out number 1. And the lineup for the Mariners looks like this. It'll be David Smith leading off at second, batting second in right field. Tommy Seidel batting third, the shortstop Nick Goodwin, batting cleanup the designated hitter Joe Vetrano, batting fifth the third baseman Kenny Lavari, batting sixth, the first baseman Hunter Stokely. Batting seventh, the center fielder Chris Newell. Batting eighth, the catcher Matt Gassetti. And batting ninth in left field is Cole Harding. So one away here for Tommy Seidel. He had 2 doubles, and he takes this pitch off the head without even flinching, really. And he'll get a free pass over to first base. Tommy Seidel extends his on-base streak just like that to 12 games.
Yeah, I mean, you take it. If you're Seidel and if you're Harwich, you want to get back off to an excellent start as you did in the first game. Already not what you were able to do in getting 3 hits in the first 3 batters of the game, but you do have a man on with 1 away for Nick Goodwin, who's been excellent, had a hit last game for the Mariners, and he's going to look to continue some of that success here.
And Brand, a tough pitcher. He posted the lowest ERA across NCAA Division I at 1.40 in 2022. He had an 8-2 record in 13 starts at Miami, Ohio. As count is 1-0 to the 3-hitter Nick Goodwin. He scored a run in the last game and also helped in that big first inning. Seidel over at first, always a threat to run. And the pitch. Breaking ball misses away, and it's 2-0. Defense for the Gatemen looks like this. Left to right in the outfield, it's going to be Windish, Robertson, and Clark. And third to first in the infield is Fabian, Padilla, Hausinger, and Roden, with Campos doing the catching for Brand. As this one grounded up the middle for a base hit, Nick Goodwin picks up where he left off. It's booted a little bit by Robertson, but no advancement. And with 1 away, there's now 2 on.
Yeah, Nick Goodwin, second straight game in which he's had a single in the first inning. He's been successful in this 3-hole now for Harwich. This is his 3rd straight game in which he's been able to record a hit, batting 3rd in the lineup, and so finding some success here in this spot. Generally the leadoff man, but is able to still bat when he steps into the batter's box, regardless of when exactly in the order he's coming up.
1 away for Joe Vetrano. He had an RBI in the last game on a sac fly. He also flew out to center and struck out swinging. 2 on for him now. Favorable matchup, righty on lefty for him. And checked his swing, but it's in there for a strike. And Harwich put up 3 runs in the first inning of that win in Game 1, something they have not done all season. They were held quietly the rest of the way, but a chance for more damage here in just the top half of the first. Very similar narrative as Vetrano missed that off-speed pitch, and he's behind in the count 0-2.
Yeah, Vetrano 0 for 3 back in Game 1. Did have an RBI on a sac fly he hit back in that first inning. But that was when Tommy Seidel was planted over on third and was able to tag up, and he currently stands on second right now.
Seidel at second and Goodwin at first. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Joe Vetrano. And he lines this one into left field for a base hit. Seidel will take a turn, but he's going to be held up as it got in quickly from Hogan Windish. A nice job there. But they are now all loaded up for Kenny Lavari, who's been swinging a hot stick.
Yeah, really nice hold over at third. Obviously, Seidel, plenty of speed, and you want to try to get that run across, but you got to trust your lineup to continue its job. And so Lavari now a guy who's been excellent here for the Mariners across his entire season so far here. Again, he's been on base every single game he's played in, continued that streak last game as he was able to get on, now up to, I believe, 10 games or 9, and we'll see what he's able to do now with the bases juiced and only one away.
Mariners have a pair of hits. And a chance for runs now. Kenny Lavari will climb in. And first pitch to him, he grounds it up the middle. It's fielded by Padilla. No, it gets through. Rounding third and scoring is Goodwin, along with the run already in from Seidel. That one under the glove of Padilla. He's going to want that back. And it's quickly 2-0.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Trust your lineup to do their job. Kenny Lavari now 10 games this season. He's managed to get on base. All 10 he's appeared in. Just really impressive, this blitz that we've seen from the Mariners right out of the gate. And they have been excellent here to open it up. But you have to hope that once this inning concludes, they're able to keep it rolling consistently throughout the entire game.
It really looked as if we were going to see an inning-ending double play and no runs. But the Mariners escaped with 2. As that brings up Hunter Stokely, the first baseman, making his 2022 debut for Harwich, wearing Kyle Teal's old 33. He stands in the left-hand side. And just out-of-town scorebook, congratulations to Ole Miss. They clinched a College World Series with a 4-2 victory over Oklahoma. So a new champion, Mississippi really starting their reign in the College World Series. Mississippi State won last year, and now Ole Miss takes it this year.
Yeah, the SEC reigns in college baseball.
0-2 now to Stokely, North Carolina product. He's got those white cleats with the light blue and the UNC logo.
The Tar Heel blue.
Correct. And here comes the 0-2 pitch to him. He chops it way ahead of it over towards the first base side, foul.
Want to give you some out-of-town scores as we've had an entire set of games completed to this point. The YD Red Sox beat Falmouth by a score of 4-1. Brewster topped Bourne 6-1. The Harbor Hawks took down Chatham 7-3, and then Katuitt took down Orleans also 7-3. So some good scores in there if you're Harwich. 2 of your East Division opponents falling earlier today.
Yeah, but YD, that team you really want to lose, they pick up the win. Is rung up right there is Stokely. Welcome to 2022 in the Cape League, as he goes down looking for out number 2. Mariners brought up 7 hitters back in the first inning of game 1, and this will be the 7th now in Chris Newell. He had a hit at the end of the game there to go 1 for 3 in his debut for the Mariners here in 2022. And the first pitch to Newell just misses the outside corner. A good look from Brand, but it's 1-0.
And this is going to be a nice day for a player who's just in from out of town to come in, get into the lineup, and get an extended look at the plate here today. Newell, another full game in which he's expected to play. And so should be plenty of more at-bats for him to get acclimated once again to Cape Cod pitching and using a wood bat.
1-0 to him. Breaking ball outside, and it's 2-0. Matt Gussetti on deck should he get the opportunity. Mariners on the fence of the dugout. They lead 2-0. 5 runs have been scored throughout the ball games today, and all have come in the first inning, and all have come from the Harwich Mariners. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. This one is lifted high and deep into center field, but right at Robertson. He barely has to move and pulls it in for out number 3. So the Mariners string together 3 hits, and they score 2 runs while stranding 2. A nice cushion for the Northeastern Husky and Wyatt Scotty. He takes the hill. We'll take a quick break and come right back on the Cape Cod Baseball League here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Tim Foley, Devin Dobeck bring you the action. And starting lineup for the Wareham Gatemen looks like this. Batting leadoff the catcher Ryan Campos. Batting second the left fielder Hogan Windish. Batting third the first baseman Alan Roden. Batting cleanup the right fielder Kellum Clark. Batting fifth the designated hitter Max Anderson. Batting sixth the second baseman Jack Hausinger. Batting seventh the third baseman Derek Fabian. Batting eighth the shortstop Ryan Padilla. And batting ninth, the center fielder, Mike Robertson. So that's the 9 for Harvey Shapiro, trying to get them a win on the day, and that would be win number 5 for them. The Harwich defense, just a little bit different from game 1. It looks like this. Left to right in the outfield is Cole Harding, Chris Newell, and Tommy Seidel. Third to first in the infield is Kenny Lavari, Nick Goodwin, David Smith, and Hunter Stokely at first base. Vetrano moves to the designated hitter spot. Perez Kavanaugh, the only one not in the lineup. And Matt Gassetti doing the catching for the starter, Wyatt Scotty. Scotty's second appearance of the season, both of them starts. He went 3 innings, struck out just 2, while he allowed 6 hits and a pair of runs. It was not his best, and we know he's a guy who can bring it. He does have a season-high 11 strikeouts that came against Clemson back in March, in which he went 8 innings. So just wasn't his day. He's going to try and get win number 2 here for Harwich, though.
Yeah, and we talked about it a bit, but really nice to be able to come out here with already the little cushion coming out. Second time today that Harwich has managed to give their starter a bit of a lead.
And Campos grounds this one on a hop over to Smith. He fires on to first. Stokely's got that one. It'll be a 4-3 putout for out number 1.
Also worth noting that the 3-0 shutout for the Mariners in Game 1, the first shutout of the season for Harwich. They've been shut out once. That was back, not yesterday, but last Saturday against YD in that forgettable 11-0 walloping over at Red Wilson Field, but able to bounce back nicely, and now they're looking to pick up their second win on the day.
Hogan Windish will climb in. He watches ball 1, and Scotty's Northeastern stat line looked like this. He went 8-3, had a 2.88 ERA, and made 14 starts in 14 appearances. Threw 81 in the third innings and punched out 66 to just 8 walks. Does not like to walk people. This one's lifted high and into shallow left. It's called off, and making the play is Cole Harding for out number 2.
Yeah, Harding, a bit of a different look here today. He's really only headed up duties out in center field, but with the return of Chris Newell, Harding has now shifted over to left to make room for Newell, taking place of Press Kavanaugh here in Game 2, and already getting a good early look.
Alan Roden, the first baseman, he will climb in for his first shot at Scotty. Looking to make them go down quietly here. First pitch, just below the knees for ball 1. Scotty, as we've mentioned, from Barnstable, Massachusetts, right here on the Cape. I bet he would have liked to pitch against Cotuit right in his hometown. As another couple hops over to David Smith. He goes to first, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom half for Wyatt Scotty and the Mariners. We head to the second. Mariners up 2. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Top of the seventh, or excuse me, the second. Devin Dobeck with Tim Foley here. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Harwich Mariners.
Matt Gussetti.
Yeah. I know, I got to pump the brakes a little bit. Matt Gussetti, he chops the first one he sees over to third base. Sprinting in is Fabian. He fires on the first, a beautiful throw, and it's one pitch, one out for Brand.
Yeah, Fabian just continuing to show off his excellence over at the hot corner, stepping in, and another really nice pick. Had one on a short hop back in game one, and this time around in game two, able to field that one on a couple of hops over his way, charging right in at it. Makes a throw with plenty of time. Excellent stuff from the Florida product.
Cole Harding. He did not appear in game one, but he'll climb in today. He had a pair of hits against Katuitt. He's really starting to turn up his offensive game. He sits in the 9 spot here, and he's down in the count 0-1 to Brand. Second pitch to him misses just outside, and it's evened up at 1. Brand sets and kicks and delivers. That one fouled off over to the right. And now he's got to be careful and protect. It's a ball and 2 strikes to the Cincinnati Bearcat and Cole Harding.
Yeah, Harding, there's going to be a little less room in the outfield now for him. He's certainly going to want to try to make his at-bats, his plate appearances, everything count when he gets the chance, because the arrival of Press Kavanaugh and Chris Newell is going to take up a lot of time in the outfield.
Harding lifts this one high and over to second. Hausinger calling it, and he's got it for out number 2.
And just got right underneath that one, skied it out towards second base. An easy play for the second baseman to be able to make as he reeled that one in.
And another thing to factor in is you got the shade over where the catcher is and the hitter, but then the pitcher's mound is in light, so it's sometimes difficult to pick up that ball when the lighting change is coming in. As first pitch to the top of the order, and Smith is fouled off for strike 1.
That's going to be a factor all game long, as the shadow's only going to get longer here at Spillane Field.
Smith grounded out to second in his first at bat, and he lifts this one up and over towards the school. All the children will converge after that one, and it's now 0-2. Smith, a Yukon Husky. Holding down second. Now the 3rd straight time he's been in the lineup for Coach Englert, so earning his trust pretty quickly. Does play solid defense. A little hesitation there, some Johnny Cueto stuff from Jonathan Brand. But that misses, it's 1-2.
Yeah, lifted up that front leg, just sort of hold it for a moment.
He's into his set, and the pitch. 1-2 is in there on the outside corner. Strike 3. 1-2-3 go the Mariners. They get nothing doing. We head to the home half of the second here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. 4-5-6 due up for the Gatemen. It'll be Kellum Clark, Max Anderson, and Jack Hausinger. Kellum Clark in right field. He came in a pinch hit at the end of game one as he lines the first pitch he sees fair down the right field line. It's going to escape all the way into the corner. Seidel picks it up. He's going to be held at second, and probably wisely so. It's a leadoff double for Kellum Clark, and Gatemen are in business here in the second.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want to do after you've been shut out for an entire game. Come out here in the second inning now and be able to get a leadoff double. Set yourself up to find some success and help to bring the tying run to the plate here early on.
Max Anderson, the designated hitter, will climb in. Just a two-run ball game early on here on a beautiful Sunday night in Wareham, Massachusetts. First pitch. This is chopped over to third. It actually gets through into left field. It'll be 2 pitches and 2 knocks for the Gatemen. They have runners at the corners just like that with nobody away.
Yeah, and these are the dangers of a 2-run lead. You can't feel comfortable right now because the tying run's now over on first base early on here. Harwich really going to have to bear down defensively. They did get Wareham to leave them loaded last game. That was late in the game as well, back in the 6th inning. So Harwich is not a stranger to being able to wipe out opportunities for the Gatemen here, but 2 on with no outs, that is something to fear if you're the Harwich defense.
Jack Hausinger, the batter, he watches strike 1 go by. And for Hausinger, he had a 4-game hit streak going into the last game in which he went 0 for 4. It was a tough day for him. One of the top guys on getting on base in the Cape League. He's probably around 450 now. Our live stats are a little slow, so our apologies. Not a great connection up in the Raptor cage here. Ball and a strike from Scotty. And that one just misses off the plate, 2-1. Hausinger also had a 9-game on base streak going into the last game that was just snapped. And then that pitch misses outside, it's 3-1.
Yeah, so you know he's going to be eager to get back out there, get on base, and what an opportunity it is for him here, should he be able to get on base to help bring in a run.
Scotty kicks and delivers. This one is popped up in a shallow right field. Smith will go out, but Seidel calls him off, and he puts that one away. No movement from Kellum Clark over at third base, and it's a gift of a first out. Hausinger not going to be pleased, and that's going to be out number 1.
Yeah, not nearly deep enough to be able to drive in Kellum Clark. He was drifting away from that third base bag. No intentions of tagging and running. Certainly not smart to try to run on Tommy Seidel, given what he's been able to do this season, as well as just today alone. Had an assist earlier today back in game 1. A very impressive throw to the plate to have Matt Cassetti help tag out a runner at home.
First pitch from Scotty is in there to the hitter, and Derek Fabian, the third baseman. Had a pretty good defensive game in game 1. Had a handful of putouts as this one bounced in the dirt. Cassetti with a nice play to knock it down. Could have been trouble had it gotten by him. You got runners on the corners now with 1 out. Such a key moment in the ball game early on. A ball and a strike. And Scotty delivers. That one ran inside, and they're going to say it got him. He hits a man and loads them all up for Ryan Padilla.
Certainly not what you want to see if you're Harwich. Scotty had a great first inning, and he's trying to bounce back after what was a rough outing his last time out back on June 17th against Bourne. And he comes out here in the second inning, allows 2 hits. He hits a batter, and he's trying to stay settled. Still has not allowed a run, but only 1 away, and now the base is loaded.
Padilla out of UConn. Shortstop there. He had a key moment in the game thus far. He had a chance to make an inning-ending double play, but it just went under his glove, and Harwich capitalized with a pair of runs. Got a chance to make up for all that with a base hit. He could tie the ball game. 1-1 to him.
And one of the things that's big to remember here, too, if you're Harwich, is that Matt Gussetti is on his second game of the day behind home.
This one's lined right past the diving Smith into right field. One run is in, and they're all reloaded up for the 9-hitter and Mike Robertson. Wareham, their first run in the day.
Yeah, it comes here in game 2, and Ryan Padilla, he's able to come in clutch when his team needs it, is able to put a run across, and bases remain loaded here. Fortunate for him, it was just out of the range of David Smith over at second base, who has been nice defensively here for Harwich. He's made a couple of plays, but just couldn't reel that one in.
Robertson, the center fielder. Even with broadcasting, you get in his second game, just start to stumble a bit.
Feels like the bottom of the 9th right now for everybody who's been playing too anyway.
1-0, and that one misses up and away for a 2-0 count.
Of course, generally you don't have a 30-minute delay between the 7th and 8th innings, but nonetheless, it's still a lot of baseball that's played. And again, we mentioned Gussetti. He was busy back behind home plate in game 1, and here in game 2, he's been seeing some action.
As 2-0 is fouled back, 2-1. It's Anderson at third, Fabian at second, and Padilla at first. Scotty kicks and fires, blew it right by him, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, really nice pitch fastball, able to get the batter and Robertson to bite. Couldn't find any of it. And now he's setting himself up here to try to put him away.
Comes the 2-2 from the second-year member of the Mariners. Checked his swing. No, he did not. So it's all full. Nowhere to put him either. So he's got to find a way to pitch it in the strike zone. You don't want a free ticket. And it's fouled off towards the school to make it 3 balls and 2 strikes once again. Scotty wants a new baseball, and his wish is granted. Gussetti will fire one out to him. Teddy Sharkey is in the bullpen. Should the Mariners want to go there this soon, as 3-2 misses upstairs, and that'll tie the ball game at 2. Scotty walks in a run. He's not pleased with himself. A guy who does not walk people, as I mentioned, just 8 walks across 81 1/3 innings at Northeastern this past season.
Yeah, certainly out of character for him to be walking guys here. And it brings in the tying run. If you're Harwich, you have to be satisfied with how the bats have gone to an extent, at least here in game 2 early on. So you have to be confident you're going to be able to regain the lead, but you have to lock down the rest of this inning. You do not want to fall behind here after jumping ahead 2-0.
1-0 to the top of the order, and Ryan Campos, a dangerous hitter, and he evens it up with a foul tip back to the netting. And yeah, Scotty, you're shocked to see him in these bases loaded situations because his whip was just under 1 at .96. So not a lot of people, and if any, no more than 1, maybe the occasional 2 on base in the same inning. I mean, he's very dialed in and able to move through innings quickly. His longest outing, 8 innings back in March. But he's in a jam here.
And there's a bit of a delay, too, as the home plate umpire had to go over to the Wareham bench to go and look for some more balls. Had to take a moment, finally got some, and now Scotty, after the brief delay, is ready to deliver once again.
Yeah, all due respect to the Wareham Bat Boys, but they've been off today. They've missed a few cues. They've left a few bats that the coaches have had to retrieve, and this time the game paused. Maybe it's that sun in their eyes still they're not able to see or something, because the sun is starting to enter the infield. Still not over the pitcher's mound yet, but most definitely over the Wareham dugout. As now 3-1. Scotty way behind. He's got to battle some adversity here. You don't want to walk into another one. The pitch. This one lifted high and deep. Back out to right field. Giving chase is Seidel. He looks up. It's gone. Grand slam, Ryan Campos. He blows this thing open. Scotty hangs one, and it's out over to right field. Home run, and it's 6-2.
Yeah, that is the third home run of the season for Wareham. Not one for the long ball generally. That was tied for 9th in the Cape Cod Baseball League at 2 coming into today. But now, at their third of the season, and Coach Englert, he's going to the pen.
So Scotty gets shelled once again. He's had a tough go here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and that will end his night. We'll bring you his line when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Mariners not out yet. We'll take a break on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Hogan Windish.
Welcome back. Hogan Windish set to lead things off here after the break. As already in the inning, we have seen 6 runs from the Wareham Gatemen. Teddy Sharkey, the wing from Coastal Carolina, 6'0", 202 pounds from Brielle, New Jersey. And this will be his debut for the Mariners here this past season at Coastal Carolina. He went 0-2 with a 4.50 ERA across 16 games. He only made 1 start and had 2 saves with 12 strikeouts in 16 innings pitched.
Yeah, a bit of a better freshman year for him. As that one misses high, it's 1-1. ERA of 2.25. Appeared in 22 games compared to the 16 this past season for Coastal Carolina, and struck out 33. But he's made his way here to the Cape, and he is going to have to be dialed in for a couple of innings here. Coach Englund's going to want a lot out of him.
As the 1-1 is up high, make it 2-1.
And just to recap the day for Wyatt Scotty for you, a solid first inning. They went down 1-2-3, but troubles came in the second. His final line looked like this: an inning and a third, 4 hits, 6 earned runs, did walk 1 batter, and did not strike anybody out.
Sharkey to his set and delivers. This one is popped into left field. Going back is Harding, but he's got plenty of room to make the grab. And there's 2 away.
I mean, that's what you need if you're Sharkey. You come into this game, you get the first out. Granted, it's a loud fly out to left, some contact from Wareham, but you take them how you can get them after this disastrous inning that's been here for Harwich. 6 runs in the inning, rivaled only by that 6-run first inning that YD was able to drop on the Mariners back when the Mariners visited Red Wilson Field earlier this season in what was eventually an 11-0 loss last Saturday.
2 away for Alan Roden. He's grounded out to second. He was part of that 1-2-3 inning. As Gassetti in some pain here, and you can't afford this. He'll walk it off, but your only catcher right now. We have not seen Tatum Levens. Not sure of any intel on him, but.
And it looks like perhaps it was his thumb, as we saw the home plate umpire perhaps indicating back toward the Mariner dugout. Not to speculate all too much, nonetheless. Matt Gassetti, he is a tough guy. He's been put in a big spot here today for the Mariners, where he's been asked to call 2 7-inning games. Not a full game each, but still 14 innings of baseball. That's a lot for one catcher to be able to catch, and he's going to look to tough it out here today because the Mariners need him to.
And yeah, I guess Levens is here with the club. Not sure if he's being worked on. Carlson Reed indicated that he was with the trainers right below us. But it's a ball and a strike now from Sharkey.
That's one of the things that's kind of nice about being right on top of the dugout. You get some immediate feedback from the dugout.
Yeah, Reed's been a help today. Caught me mid-sneeze back in game 1. As here's the 1-1 now to Roden. Upstairs, 2-1.
And I guess the one silver lining here, if you're Harwich and if you're Sharkey in particular, is that obviously the Grand Slam not ideal, but you come in and it's a fresh inning effectively for you. Already 1 out and nobody on. Kind of a low-pressure situation where most of the damage has already been done, and you just need to kind of pitch your game without worrying about any runners.
Comes the 2-1. Fouled back towards the press box, and it's 2-2. This will be the 9th batter of the inning in Roden. So they've essentially batted around. Not sure if the 10th man needs to come up to make that happen. There's a controversy over that.
Yeah, a lot of people give different answers.
Definitely worth a poll question. As here comes the 2-2 from the Coastal Carolina Chanticleer. That one is gas, and it jams him up. Lavari's under it, and he puts it away for out number 3. But not before the Wareham Gatemen strike for 6 on the back of a grand slam by Ryan Campos, the catcher. They lead it 6-2. Time for some offense here in Wareham. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Top of the third inning, Brand out there for his third inning of work, and I will hand play-by-play duties over to Tim Foley for innings 3, 4, and 5, as they're playing the music a little long again.
Thanks so much, Devin, as Tommy Seidel digs back in, the righty out of Alabama. Seidel so far today, he was hit by a pitch back in the first inning, and he ended up coming all the way around to score. He swings through the first offering from the pitcher on the mound for the Gateman, and the count is now 0-1. And so Seidel standing in, awaits the next pitch, checks his swing. Did he go? No, says the first base umpire. So the count now is 1-1. Jonathan Brand back out on the mound for his third inning of work here for the Gateman, as Seidel takes a pitch that will miss for a ball, and the count now is 2-1. And Devin, we were talking a bit last half inning of play about the meaning of batted around, whether it constitutes a lineup batting through 9 batters, the entire lineup, or 10 if you have to get back to the batter who led off the inning. As the 2-1 comes in, that's going to be pushed out toward right field. That's going to get beyond the reach of Kellum Clark. That's down toward the wall. Tommy Seidel's digging for 2. He will hold up, and it's a leadoff double for Tommy Seidel. That is his third extra base hit of the day, his third double at that. Second time today he's led off an inning with a double, and he is red hot. That's the 4th time he's gotten on for the Mariners.
Yeah, he's really on a tear, and it's so happy to see a guy who's really busted out. He was in a slump earlier in the season, and now he's just on an absolute tear. Reached base in all 12 games he's played in, but now they're starting to come by way of long bombs. And he, as you said, Tim, picks up his third double of the day. And hopefully Mariners can start that slow crawl back here.
You make a really good point there, Devin, as the first pitch comes into Nick Goodwin. It's fouled back, and the count is 0-1, that he's starting to really barrel up balls. I mean, early on, he had 1 or 2 hits to start the season, but he was finding ways, be it either walk, error, hit by pitch, to get on, sort of extend the streak. Not that that was his main intention, to extend the streak, but just to get on base. But now he's really being able to find the ball, make good contact, and he's having himself a day here off Cape. It's an 0-1 count to Nick Goodwin as the pitcher in Brand stares in the pitch. That's going to miss outside, and the count now is 1-1. We're going to do something a bit more interactive here, something we've yet to do this season. We'd like you to tweet at the Harwich Mariners Twitter account whether you think batted around consists of 9 batters or 10 batters. We'll read off some answers on air if we're able to get any here. Want to hear what the folks at home have to say about the matter as Brand stares in. It's a 1-1 count to Nick Goodwin. He stares back at Seidel. Here's the pitch. That misses outside, and the count now 2-1.
Yeah, it'll be a fun exercise. I mean, why not? Voice your opinion, get a chance to have it on the air.
Give you a shout out perhaps as well.
And then we'll reveal the real answer, at least what the top result is on the internet.
Yeah, we'll see what people say.
No cheating.
Well, I think is it still up for interpretation, really? General consensus? I don't know if there is a definitive answer as the 2-1 misses outside. It's now 3-1. Unless you've done more research into this than I have.
There's something by the book, but that will remain to be revealed.
We already have one answer. Team writer Johnny Deppin. He claims it's 10 batters to bat around the order. As it's a 3-1 count here to Nick Goodwin. Tommy Seidel's on second. There's nobody away here in the top of the third. Pickoff move back to second. Unable to apply the tag as very swiftly Jack Hausinger tried to drop down the tag. Seidel slides back in underneath it safely. He was caught stealing back in game 1. And so he's going to look to maintain his positioning on base without giving up a free out to Wareham. It's a 3-1 count. The pitch. That's fouled back, and the count now runs full here from Goodwin.
Goodwin's got to have a big at-bat here. He had one back in the first inning. He singled, and he also had another good one back in the first inning of game 1. But a big spot here. Harwich does not want to go down without a fight. Doubleheader, it's a long day of baseball, and if you can get back to 500 after your longest road trip, that's got to be a great feeling.
It's a 3-2 count here to Nick Goodwin. Brand stares back and delivers. This ball's going to be hit out toward left field. That's going to get down. Tommy Seidel's going to be waved home. Here he comes. Play at the plate. Not in time. Throw was short. Well after the Tommy Seidel had been able to cross home plate. And so the Harwich Mariners are able to tack on another run. It's now 6-3 here in the top of the third inning, still with nobody out, as Nick Goodwin now has hits in back-to-back at-bats and back-to-back games at that. Third hit he had today, had one in game one, went 1 for 3, and now 2 for 2 here in game 2.
Clutch, too. I mean, lining that one into left field. Great base running. A nice send by Coach Tebow at third. And Tommy Seidel, he's going to score on those all 9 times out of 10 with his kind of speed. Big first run, and still nobody away here in the third inning.
And so in steps Joe Vitrano, the big first baseman out of Boston College. He's taking up designated hitting duties here in game number 2. He was the first baseman back in game 1, and it's now Hunter Stokely who is taking up duties over at first base. Stokely in his Mariners debut. It's a 1-0 count here to the batter in Vitrano. Here's the pitch. That's going to find the strike zone, and just outside as well. It's a 1-1 count here. Coach Tebow gives the sign over at third base. Brand standing on the mound stares in. Goodwin, he'll take a modest lead over at first, as shielding his eyes from the sun is Alan Roden. Still a low angle for the sun here, as back up the middle from Vitrano. Throw on to second for 1, on to first for 2, and they got it. The inning not quite over yet. There were no outs in the inning, I should say.
Padilla is heading into the dugout.
A couple of Gateman not exactly getting the message here. Baseball, a game of 3 outs per inning. As we head now to the next batter, Kenny Lavari up to bat, but a tough break for Harwich. Yes, you get the first run on the single from Nick Goodwin of the inning, I should say, but unfortunate that with nobody out and a man on, you now find yourself with nobody on and 2 away for Lavari, who's been hot recently. So Lavari 1 for 1 on the night, at least in game 2. Went 1 for 2 in game 1. Also had a walk. Got as far as third base back in the 7th inning. He was stranded there. Ultimately did not need to come across a score, as it's a 1-0 count here to him. The next pitch comes in. It's hit on the ground. Broken bat. Left side. That'll be fielded by Fabian. Throw across the diamond to first base is in time, on target, and the inning ends. The Harwich Mariners are able to scratch across another run. It's now 6-3 Wareham, but they have some more work ahead of them. They'll have to take care of business in the field first. Teddy Sharkey will head back out there for his first full inning of work, and we'll bring it to you on the other side. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We bring you back inside of Spillane Field here in Wareham, Massachusetts, where the field is gravel and the sun is setting here as we head toward the later portions of our day. We're getting close to midway through game 2. We're about 2.5 gone out of this 7-inning ball game. Teddy Sharkey's back on the mound. It is his first full inning of work. Wyatt Scotty came in, pitched an inning and a third, and gave up the 6 runs that have been charged against Harwich to this point. As the first pitch from Sharkey into the batter in Hogan Windish, to Kellum Clark, who led off the last inning for Wareham. Misses for a ball, and the count opens at 1-0. On the day, Clark opened up that big second inning for Wareham with a double. Ended up getting onto second base, and he was ultimately brought around on a single by Ryan Padilla. As it's a 1-1 count now. Sharkey stares in and delivers. That's going to miss low. It's a 2-1 count here. Sharkey again, this is Cape Cod Baseball League debut. Just got activated earlier today. He's been in town for a little bit here. Mariners have been expecting him. Finally meandered into town. It's a 2-1 count. Nobody away. To the batter and Clark. Stares in. The pitch. That's hit on the ground right side. Stokely stabs at it, and it's a foot race to first. He'll make the tag to the bag. Down goes Clark, 1 away.
Nice play there for Stokely. Calls off the pitcher. I got it. And Sharkey laughs it off, shaking his head. He wins the race. We've seen a few interesting races over to first base. Think back to when Sullivan just went right through Hausinger in game 1.
As we head to the next batter in Max Anderson. Anderson on the day, 1 for 1. Sharkey's first pitch to him is going to be in for a called strike, and the count opens at 0-1. As we take a look back around the Cape Cod Baseball League, we broke some of the scores for you earlier today. Harwich and Wareham in this latest doubleheader of all. So we should have some more finals to report for you, and we do. As the next pitch is in for another called strike, it's 0-2. Tough news for Harwich as YD picked up a win over Falmouth and Brewster picked up a win over Bourne. So YD and Bourne both 2-0 on the day, two of the teams that are ahead of you in the standings. So it's going to require a Herculean effort to keep pace with them. As it's an 0-2 count that ends up missing inside. The count now 1-2.
And yeah, it's a tough day, but a lot of season left, and top 4 teams in each division make the playoffs. So as long as you're able to pull your weight and stay above Chatham or whoever else they can surpass, you'll be all right.
Chatham, by the way, winning right now over Hyannis in game 2, 3-1. This one's chopped on the ground left side. Stabbing at it's Lavari. Throwing to first. A low throw, but a good one nonetheless. Able to find the glove of Stokely nicely, and there's now 2 gone here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Beautiful play from Lavari there. He remains composed, although he knows he's got to rush it. Runs in, makes the play on the short hop, collects, and fires over to first accurately. Beats the runner in Anderson by half a step, out number 2.
And then one other score to update you on. Cotuit and Orleans over at Eldridge Park. That game's in the top of the 4th inning, and it is tied 0-0. The first pitch to the batter, and Jack Hausinger, who is 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field, is going to be fouled off for a strike, rather. And so the count opens at 0-1. Sharkey stares in and delivers. That's a nice pitch, able to find the strike zone, and it's now 0-2.
Just finish him off. Don't waste any time.
Sharkey trying to end the inning. Going to make it a 1-2-3, looking for his first strikeout. That'll skip in the dirt well before home plate. Just caught the dirt in front of home. And so Gassetti able to get out in front of it and block it. Quite the setup they've got at Spillane Field. We've mentioned they've got the gravel infield, but they have the dirt mound, the dirt area right at home plate, and then they also have some turf right behind home, interestingly enough, with the Wareham W right on it. So they are really testing their boundaries here when it comes to turfology, if you will. The 1-2 pitch. That's going to be rocketed out into right field. Seidel settles underneath it and makes the catch, and that ends the inning. 1-2-3, go the Gatemen. Second time today that Jack Hausinger's flown out to right field. We head to the top of the fourth inning. Mariners down by 3, looking to tack on a couple when we return. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Number 33, Hunter Stokely.
Welcome back inside Spillane Field. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you. It's Hunter Stokely, the first baseman out of UNC, who leads us off in the top of the fourth inning. The first pitch he sees is fouled off over our heads, not low enough to connect with the Raptor cage here atop the third base dugout, but we're getting closer and closer, and we still have a couple of innings left here in Wareham. This is the one trip that we'll make here to Wareham this season, as every team plays the opposing division 4 times per team, 2 times at each opponent's place, and so with the 2 games here in Wareham, that is all Harwich is allotted on the season. As the 0-1 pitch comes in to Stokely, that will miss outside, and the count is now 1-1. The only time a Mariner will take the field here beyond today is if a Mariner's awarded the honor of being a Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star here in 2022. Spillane Field and the Gateman, the host of the 2022 All-Star Game, making its return after having a couple of years off. Of course, did not have it last year in what was a COVID-shortened season, just 36 games out of an abundance of precaution. And then, of course, 2020, no season to be had whatsoever. And so 2019 at Eldridge Park the last year with a All-Star game as the 2-1 pitch misses high and outside. It's now a 3-1 count here. Mariners hosted the All-Star game back in 2018, I believe it was. Year before I started interacting with the franchise, as it's a 3-1 count. That's going to miss inside, and Hunter Stokely is on first base with a leadoff walk. That's the second time today, second straight inning at that the Mariners have been able to get the leadoff man on.
Huge. They needed that, and just got to keep tacking on runs. Find a way to move them over, do your job, pass the baton, and stay out of trouble. As Shapiro going to make his way out to the mound, this could be the day for Brand.
It very well may be, and it looks like it is. And so before we head into a break, just a reminder, we're running a little poll here on the Harwich Mariners Twitter here today. What would you consider to be batting around the order? Would 10 batters have to come up or 9? With that, we'll leave you. So as mentioned, the day is done for Jonathan Brand. We'll be back on the other side with the new pitcher in just a minute. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth here at Spillane Field. Once again, the day is done for Jonathan Brand. His day looked like this. He pitched 3 complete. He allowed 5 hits. He did not walk anybody, and he struck out 2. The man who is responsible for coming in and taking over, it's Wyatt Hudapole, who, as his first pitch is fouled off by Chris Newell, has not been brought here to the Cape Cod Baseball League. As that ball's fouled off, has not been brought into the Cape Cod Baseball League for his sense of style, I'll say that much, Devin.
Yeah, I mean, a little indecisive here. He's got kind of the socks pulled up over the pants. They're tucked in. Pretty interesting. He didn't know if he wanted to go stirrups or with the long swingman style pants, so I guess he did a hybrid, and I guess it sets him apart from the rest.
Well, if it's able to distract us, perhaps his hope is that it'll distract the Harwich batters. It's an 0-2 count here to the batter, and Chris Newell, the first man that is tasked with facing against Hudapole. As here's the pitch. Newell fouls this one off. A couple of fouls in this at-bat, and so the count remains at 0-2 here to Chris Newell. Newell on the day. He lined out to center field in his last at-bat. Earlier in game 1, went 1 for 3, had a single back in the 7th inning. It's an 0-2 count to him here, trying to move Stokely around, who got on to first with a leadoff walk to drive Brand out of the game. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss high, and the count moves to 1-2. I believe I may have mistakenly said that Brand did not walk anybody. He did walk somebody, the man who's on first, the very reason for his pulling out of the game. So again, it's a 1-2 count here to Newell, the lefty out of Virginia. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be crushed out to right field. Look at that thing go. That is gone. Chris Newell, welcome back to Harwich. His first homer of the season. He's able to drive home Stokely, and he makes it a 1-run ball game in the top of the 4th inning.
We've only been fortunate enough to see a few no-doubters put that one a no-doubter off the bat. We see Callum Clark's back almost immediately as he watches this one sail through the goalposts over at the football practice field. A blast from the Virginia player, and Newell, holy cow, what a bomb.
And so, Chris Newell, as mentioned, that's his first home run of the season. As the first pitch comes into the next batter in Matt Gossetti. And Newell, he was good for that last year for the Mariners. He was a power threat, I remember, right up there with Wilkin in regards to home run numbers, but had not hit or had not been around nearly as long. As this one's a little dribbler over to Padilla at short. Throw on to first is going to be in time to Alan Roden. And so there's now 1 away here in the inning.
I mean, I guess Newell really hated the sock to pant game. You let him know it with a blast out to right field.
Now batting the left fielder.
And so this is going to bring up the left fielder out of Cincinnati, number 10, Cole Harding. Harding on the day popped out to second base in his only at-bat. That was the second out of the 2nd inning. As he'll take a first pitch called strike, and the count opens up at 0-1.
And one thing you really got to be happy with if you're Harwich is the consistency. You've scored in 3 of the 4 innings thus far, and if you're able to keep that streak going, then you might have a chance of pulling away at this one. I believe you mentioned it last night, Tim. They have not won a game when the opponent has scored over 3 runs?
That is correct. Not once this season, as Harding goes around an uncomfortable-looking swing. Down he goes. That is the first strikeout for Wyatt Hudapole.
Yeah, beautiful looking pitch there. Just pulled the string on it and fooled Cole Harding. He didn't know if he wanted to commit or not. He goes around, and that'll be a good out number 2 for the wing and Hudapole.
So this now brings up the top of the order, David Smith, 0 for 2 here in game 2. Had a single to open up the ball game. Got this day started off right for Harwich, where he was ultimately able to come around to score back in the 1st inning of game 1. He was the first of 3 consecutive hits for the Mariners. And with any luck for him, I'm sure he's hoping that they'll be able to string together another successful line of hits coming up here. It's the same top 3 batters. In fact, same top 5 batters here for Harwich, as it's Smith, Seidel, Goodwin, Vetrano, and Lavari, as Smith chops this one foul back toward the high school here at Spillane Field. And that will make the count 1-2 here, as the pitcher in Hudepohl trying to get out of this inning. He's allowed 2. That's off of a home run for Harwich. That's the 9th home run of the season for the Mariners. As another conversation at the plate here, mid at bat as well. Again, very interesting. Second time as well it's been for Smith. So Englert paying some attention to him as he's headed out there to have a talk with him very briefly. Englert back to the dugout now. Smith back inside the lefty batter's box. He stands in as Hudepohl stands on the mound. Looks in toward home, holds the glove about head height, and delivers. That sliced off foul. That goes on to the roof of the high school, and the count remains at 1-2 with 2 away here in the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, we got a Mariner from the bullpen on the field. I think a ball escaped over the fence.
Interestingly enough, not quite sure who that is. Maybe we can get a read on the number. Looks as though, as that's going to be, I believe, foul back into the, we'll see. No, it missed outside for a ball, 2-2. And it looked like the man who was coming out to play that ball for the Mariners may have been, we're not actually quite sure, perhaps Danny Wilkinson. As that's going to be in there, called strike 3. Down goes the batter in David Smith, and the inning ends. 2 strikeouts for Wyatt Hudepohl, but he does give up a 2-run shot to Chris Newell in his first day back with the Mariners. Second game here of the doubleheader as we head now to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 batters, and Fabian Padilla and Robertson due up when we return. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside Spillane Field. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you. The day is done for Teddy Sharkey, who came in relief of Wyatt Scotty. Faced just 5 batters across his inning in 2/3 and was able to retire all of them. Did not allow a walk, no hit, did not hit anybody, just 5 batters who hit into the outfield or the infield and were put out. So, an effective day for Sharkey, and he hands it off to Danny Wilkinson, the Villanova product, the senior over at Villanova. as this is his second go-around with the Harwich Mariners. Wilkinson, his stats last season looked as such, at a 2-1 record across 8 games played, an ERA a hair under 5, as the first pitch in to the batter, or pardon, second pitch in, misses, and it's now 1-1. To go along with his 8 games appeared in and his ERA of 4.95, as that's in for a called strike. It's 1-2 now. 16 in a third innings pitched. He had 29 strikeouts to 7 walks, did allow 14 hits, but he was a strikeout guy. And here's the 1-2, and there's his first strikeout in 2022 for the Harwich Mariners. He's able to get Derek Fabian to go down swinging, and Danny Wilkinson has introduced himself to Wareham.
And despite all the madness in inning number 2, that's 6 straight Wareham gatemen that have gone down in a row.
It was 2 to close out that chaotic second inning from Sharkey. He then retired 3 straight in the third, and now 1 from Wilkinson as he's facing off against Ryan Padilla. That's a first pitch off-speed strike that's able to just find the plate. An impressive strike from Wilkinson as he's ahead in the count now, 0-1. Padilla stands in the righty. The pitch to him. Fanned on and missed, and the count now 0-2. Wilkinson looking sharp so far here across his first batter and some change. It's an 0-2 count here to Padilla. The pitch. That's going to miss inside, and the count now is 1-1. An interesting windup from the lefty, or 1-2, excuse me. Yes, he did not lose a strike to the batter in Padilla, but a very interesting windup from the lefty in Wilkinson, as he's able to get Padilla way ahead of that one. Drop third strike, but Cassetti whips it down to Stokely at first, and there's now 2 away here in the inning.
Yeah, beautiful pitch there. Dives it down in the dirt, yanked the string. Padilla stood no chance.
But looking at Wilkinson, looks like he gets a lot of rotation going when he's out there. 6'1", 190 pounds, but he really is able to get the rotation going and rip it towards home plate. There's a first pitch called strike to Mike Robertson, who on the day was able to reach on a walk back in the second, ended up coming all the way around to score. It's an 0-1 count to him here. The pitch shows bunt, and a strike is called nonetheless. Danny Wilkinson not wasting any time. And last season, too, it felt like he was in a bit of a hurry all the time. Had a pretty nice pace, and he's working quickly here. It's 0-2 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That one's going to miss, and the count now is 1-2.
Good pitch to miss on. Bounces it in the dirt. Just got his last strikeout on a very similar pitch. Credit to Robertson, he didn't bite.
1-2, skips well in the dirt. Cassetti got a piece of it, still skipped behind him. And so the count moves to 2-2 now. Wilkinson was ahead 0-2. It's been a couple of easy takes for Mike Robertson. We'll see what exactly it is that Wilkinson goes to here to try to put him away. The pitch. Does not get it. Tough to judge from our angle. We're about flush with home plate, where we cannot necessarily see, as it's a 2-2 count now. Public address announcer just made some sort of announcement. I'm not quite sure I caught it. Here's the 2-2. Fanned on and missed. 3 strikeouts. Danny Wilkinson strikes out the side. All swinging. Down go the gatemen. It's a 1-2-3 inning as Danny Wilkinson reintroduces him to Cape Cod Baseball League Baseball. We head to now the top of the 5th inning. Mariners due up to bat when we return. It'll be Seidel, Goodwin, and Vetrano. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
right fielder from Alabama.
We welcome you back inside Spillane Field. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick, and the 5th inning of play. It's Tommy Seidel, Nick Goodwin, and Joe Vitrano all due up in this inning. This is a portion of the Mariners lineup that's been rather successful so far, but before we even get to that, Tommy Seidel lays a bunt down the third base line. Fabian eats it with the right hand, is unable to get the throw off, and Tommy Seidel lays down a beautiful bunt down the third base line, and he's just been excellent for Harwich, Devin.
His 3rd hit of the ball game, 5th hit of the day. He has been no stranger to first base. He is absolutely tearing it up. Credit to Tommy Seidel finding ways to get on any way he can. A little small ball there, but to have the leadoff runner on in a 1-run game and your fastest guy, he's got 4 stolen bags, that's huge.
3rd time he's gotten on in this game, was hit by a pitch back in the first at-bat for him, 2nd at-bat of the ball game, as the count is now 1-0 here to the batter in Nick Goodwin. There is a new arm on the mound for the Gateman. It's going to be Michael Walsh out of Yale. The right-handed pitcher, 6'2", 195, is able to get a big swing and a miss from Nick Goodwin to even out the count at 1-1. So far for Wareham this season, this is his 4th appearance. He's been able to record 2 saves across his 4 innings pitched. He's allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run, walked 1, and has struck out 9. So he's been a lockdown guy for the Gateman as Seidel goes for 2nd. Throw down to the bag, not in time. That's going to be the 5th stolen base of the season for Tommy Seidel. He slides in safely in what is a 1-run ball game. The tying run now stands on 2nd.
Unbelievable jump that Seidel got. Just completely got a few extra steps before Walsh was even in his windup. Gets all the way down there. Now a runner in scoring position with nobody down. Got a lot of chances here with the heart of your order.
I was talking about this portion of the lineup, how successful it's been here in Game 2. Coming into this inning before Seidel even laid down the leadoff bunt as the 2-1 comes in, is chopped off by Goodwin, and it's now 2-2. This portion of the lineup have been a collective 4 for 5 so far, including getting on with the hit by pitch, 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored. Just really impressive stuff from Seidel, Goodwin, and Vitrano so far here. And then you add the bunt from Seidel, and so now 5 for 6 is this portion of the lineup with the 3 runs still. Seidel trying to make it 4 if he can hurry down at home. Here's the 2-2 to Goodwin. That runs inside, nearly connects with him. And so the count now moves to 3-2 as Goodwin is able to shuffle out of the way of that one as the count has run full. Walsh, full count here. Just the 1 walk on the season. Again, he has 9, ERA of 2.25. It's been impressive. But at risk of walking here. The 3-2 pitch is called strike 3. Down goes Goodwin. The first strikeout of the appearance for Walsh. And there's now 1 away in the top of the 5th.
Great location there. Some absolute paint from the pitcher, and Walsh just found that lower and away corner, picked it, got it. Big out number 1.
And so now Joe Vitrano grounded out into a double play back in the 3rd inning, had a single back in the 1st. You look back at game 1, too, as he takes the first pitch called strike. Walsh not dancing around here tonight. Vitrano 0 for 3 back in game 1, so good for him. He's able to get a hit here in game 2. But he's certainly going to be looking for more here in a big spot where he can help his team. Had a clutch hit against Katuitt the other day in which he was able to deliver a 2-run shot over the fence out in right to give his team the 3-1 lead. As Walsh stands on the mound, stares in, again the righty out of Yale. Here's the pitch as Joe Vitrano sends this one into the outfield. And that's going to be caught. But they are calling a balk. It was called right as the ball hopped off the bat of Joe Vitrano. And so that ball, which was caught by Mike Robertson out in center field, is negated. Umpires, I don't believe they're going to confer. But Tommy Seidel parked over at 3rd still as he knew that he was going to be safe, so he was just headed for 3rd either way, Devin.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting sequence as the umpire explaining it to him now. But Mariners got to be happy. They get their tying run 90 feet away now with a big bat, a guy who's able to push runners in, He already had a sac fly in game 1. And he's got a chance to tie the ball game here with another big fly as he just did.
Now I'm wondering, and my feeling is that it was a dead ball as soon as the umpire had called balk, but say that ball gets down in the outfield, is Tommy Seidel allowed to run for home? As it's an 0-1 count here. The guard, which protects some of the Mariners personnel here at the end of the dugout, has mysteriously tipped over. We don't have the greatest vantage point from here. I'm not sure if there's somebody to blame for that. I do see Hunter Stokely standing around the end of the dugout. It is his first game here. I'm not quite sure if he perhaps got a piece of it on a wind-up swing. We'll have to do some investigative reporting after the game. But in the meantime, it's still an 0-1 count to the batter in Joe Vitrano. A balk has moved Tommy Seidel up an extra 90 feet. He now stands on third base trying to tie this game should he be able to come home. Here's the 0-1. That's going to miss outside the count now. 1-1 here to the batter in Joe Vitrano. Mariners have scored runs across 3 innings so far here tonight. The first, third, and fourth. Some consistent offense, something that the team has not gotten a whole lot of this season, but has been coming in here today, as it is a 2-1 count now to the batter in Vitrano.
See how aggressive he tries to be here in a 2-1 count. He gets a few low pitches from Walsh.
The 2-1 pitch is going to be fouled off. That'll go back toward the backstop, out of play.
And he put a little extra on that. We heard a grunt from Michael Walsh. Really trying to pump the zone. This is a big out because you want to be able to not have to worry about Seidel scoring on any kind of contact. He's so fast, he'll make it home on a ground ball.
So the 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss. A nice take from Vitrano just outside, and the count runs full here. Again, Walsh, he's walked just one batter on the season, at risk now of walking what would be only his second. He has already struck out a batter as well. That was Nick Goodwin a moment ago. Here's the pitch. That misses outside, and Joe Vitrano is able to take a walk as he heads down to first base. So now the Mariners have him posted on the corners with one down here for Kenny Lavari, who's been as excellent as anybody for the Mariners across his past couple of games. Right now on a 3-game hitting streak is Lavari.
Yeah, he's been great and had a single back in the first inning. Since then he's grounded out to third, but all you need is for him to get this ball in play, and Tommy Seidel's going to find a way to score, barring the double play.
And so Lavari stands in. I believe it actually to be a, 5-game hitting streak for Lavari, as it's a 1-0 count to him here. On-base streak is up to 10 games now. I mean, any way you cut it, he's been great, and Harwich is going to need some contact here from him, as it's a 1-0 pitch that misses outside. The count now 2-0 to Lavari, and this is going to force a conversation between the catcher here for the Gatemen in Ryan Campos and his pitcher in Michael Walsh. Coach going to come out for the Gatemen as well. It is not Harvey Shapiro to pull Walsh out of the game, but it is going to be a talk here on the mound as Walsh, we gave you his numbers a bit earlier, usually a lockdown guy. Again, he's had 3, this is his 4th appearance across his 3 so far, 4 innings pitched. He's just given up 1 run and 1 walk, but he's at risk of giving up his 2nd run after just giving up his 2nd walk. ERA hovering right about 225. Again, that also at risk right now. It's a 2-0 count as the discussion on the mound disperses. Going back behind home plate, Ryan Campos stepping back into the batter's box in a moment, set to be Kenny Lavari. Coach Tebow heads back over to third base as well. He'll park right next to Tommy Seidel, who's having a brief conversation with Derek Fabian over at third, discussing the finer points of the game, I'm sure. It's a 2-0 count to Lavari. Walsh stares at Seidel, the pitch. That's in for a strike, and that's what you expect out of the break, out of the brief meeting on the mound, I should say. believe it to be a 2-1 count. It is. The scoreboard in-house reads 2-2. Nonetheless, Kenny Lavari just the one strike against them. The thought of a pickoff move back to first for Walsh. He steps off and is going to keep Joe Vitrano pinned there to the bag. So, 2-1 count to Lavari. Walsh stares in, looks at Seidel, and delivers. That'll be chopped back out of play. That misses the backstop. And so the count now, 2-2.
Huge pitch coming up for Kenny. Got to find a way to protect. His kryptonite has been that outside corner these past few games. Got to remain composed here and attentive to detail. Big pitch coming up for Walsh, his biggest of the evening.
The 2-2 pitch, here it is. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Kenny Lavari. That's the second strikeout for Michael Walsh, and there's 2 down now in the inning. Harwich, they were able to get Tommy Seidel up to second base. He led off the inning with a single and was then able to steal second as Nick Goodwin stood in. But since then, 2 outs have been recorded, with Joe Vitrano getting on to first as well. But the point being, the Mariners are at risk of leaving a runner stranded on third in this one-run ball game as Hunter Stokely comes up to bat looking to make an impact here in his Harwich Mariners debut. Was able to reach on a walk back in the 4th inning, ended up coming all the way around to score on Chris Newell's bomb. Here's the pitch to Stokely. He will swing and miss, and the count is now 0-1.
Got to dig deep here for Stokely. Still looking for his first hit of the day and of the 2022 season. And to tie the game for your team that you're just joining, that's how you make your presence known.
Swing and a miss on the 0-1 pitch, and now Walsh a pitch away from striking out the side and trying to get out of the inning. 2 strikeouts already in the inning for Walsh. He's looking for number 3 here on this next pitch, trying to get up to 12 on the season. He'll nod at the sign he gets from Campos, stares over at Seidel and delivers. This one chopped foul on the ground, right side. That'll head out of play. And so the count remains at 0-2. Stokely coming out of his sophomore year over at UNC. On the season, batted .285. The soon-to-be junior for the Tar Heels. 53 for 186, had 9 doubles on the season, 25 RBI as well, and a big RBI spot here if he can do it. Does have 48 strikeouts on the season as well. As Walsh stares over at Seidel on third once again. It's an 0-2 count, and he now looks toward home plate. Stokely stands in, the pitch, that'll miss, ball. Runner goes down to second, and Joe Vitrano stealing a base, my goodness, as Tommy Seidel stays over at third. Perhaps the Mariners hoping that they would have been able to get the double steal off, but nonetheless, Vitrano's moved up an extra 90 feet.
How about that? Big fella out there swiping bags.
And Joe Vitrano, by no means a small man. 6'4", 230 pounds. He was hustling down to the bag. It's a 1-2 count. That's going to miss outside. A very nice take from Stokely to extend this at bat and make the count now 2-2.
A battle, just war of attrition out here. Walsh has been getting deep into counts. He's got to find a way to get Stokely, though.
And very quickly, that's the first stolen base of the season for Joe Vitrano. Just 8 in his career with, or rather 7 in his career with BC, as the 2-2 misses, and the count now runs full. Hunter Stokely has taken some gutsy pitches here, and he's been able to work the count back full, and now he forces the issue into the hands of Michael Walsh. We'll see what Walsh goes to here. An important pitch coming up. The pitch that skips in the dirt, ball 4. Hunter Stokely, after going down early in the count, 0-2, survives the at-bat and trots down to first base. This will bring up Chris Newell, perhaps one of the last people that Wareham wants to see right now.
Yeah, huge at-bat for Chris Newell. I mean, he had that 2-run blast just a couple innings ago, and now he's got a chance to give his team the tie and the lead here with one swing of the bat.
And so after allowing just 1 walk across his previous 3 appearances, as Chris Newell takes a first pitch ball, much to the chagrin of Harvey Shapiro, does not approve of it all too much, as it's putting his team in a rather desperate spot. Nowhere to put the runner in Newell if he gets on. A walk would tie the ball game. And so for Walsh, he's allowed 2 walks in this inning after allowing just 1 across 4 innings pitched so far. There's a called strike. Much to the applause of the Wareham faithful here. It's now a 1-1 count. Newell stands in. Gassetti's on deck. Should he be able to come up? A big swing and a miss from Chris Newell, who swings through that one to fall behind in the count 1-2.
Big swing there. It was off speed. Good pitch from Walsh, and now he's got him in a good spot. Got to finish the job this time if you're him. Let him get away last time, and chance for redemption here.
The bases loaded, the 1-2 pitch. That's going to miss up high, 2-2 now. Chris Newell this past season over at Virginia. Batted .258, on base percentage right about .385. Had a total of 32 RBI and a chance for some here for Harwich. Already with 2 in this game, as he had a 2-run shot over the fence and right in his last at bat. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Down goes Newell. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Michael Walsh. He makes it interesting, but the Gatemen do get out of the jam. None come across. The Mariners leave them loaded. It's still 6-5 Wareham as we head now to the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball on the other side. You're listening to the Mariners YouTube Network. We bring you back inside Spillane Field, where Danny Wilkinson is back out on the mound. It's his 2nd inning of work. It was an excellent first, but it was so long ago. It was a long inning for the Mariners at the plate. Not much came of it, aside from a couple of base runners, as the first pitch is in for a called strike to Ryan Campos, who hit a grand slam in his last at-bat back in the 2nd inning. That was the day for Wyatt Scotty before Sharkey came in and pitched an inning and 2/3 and didn't allow anything. It's an 0-1 count here to the batter in Campos as Harvey Shapiro makes his way over to third base. Here's the pitch. That'll be cut back foul, and it's 0-2 now to Campos.
Got to be careful here. A guy who has some serious pop, and you don't want him to get on the leadoff spot. You're trailing by just a run. You have the momentum. Wilkinson struck out the side an inning ago. It would be nice to extend that.
This ball's going to be tattooed out to center field. Chris Newell underneath it makes the catch, 1 away.
A little scary off the bat, but right at Newell, and he hauls it in with ease for out number 1.
So this will now bring up the left fielder, Hogan Windish. He's flown out to left field twice in this game so far. He's been paying some attention to Cole Harding over in left field. who has been taking up left for the first time this season for the Mariners. Again, we've talked about it a little bit. Generally, the man out in center field, Harding, but Chris Newell's back in town, and so, as it's an 0-1 count here to Windish, Harding has slotted over to left. 0-1 pitch is going to be popped up, playable in the infield. Stokely underneath it, toward the mound, makes the catch. Hunter Stokely settles underneath it, makes the grab. 2 down.
Nice play there for Stokely. A little trouble tracking it. We saw Vetrano almost do the same thing. I'm not sure if it was this game or last game, but they both come down with it nonetheless, and there's 2 outs here. A very quick 2.
And what you love to hear, the Harwich Mariner dugout cheering on Stokely as he was able to track that one down, stayed underneath it. You'll have to see the support for a guy who just got into town, has been working to get in, and has finally found his shot here, and has been putting in some work over at first, as it's a first pitch strike to the batter, and Alan Roden. And Danny Wilkinson has just been unrelenting with these first pitch strikes. It's 0-1. Here's the pitch. That's in for yet another called strike, and it's very quickly 0-2 to Roden, who he himself is 0-2 on the day, 0-4-2. Grounded out to second in his first at-bat and popped out to third to close out the second inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Checked swing in the dirt. Did he go? No, says the third base umpire. And so we'll do it again at 1-2. Roden back in game 1. Went 1 for 3. It wasn't until his third at-bat he was able to finally record a hit. So he's hoping to mimic that here as he's able to just defend off the high fastball from Wilkinson. It remains 1-2.
10 straight gatemen have been set down, though, by the Mariners' order ever since that second inning. So really starting to settle into a nice groove here.
As it's 1-2 to Roden. Wilkinson looking to get out of the inning. The pitch. Chopped on the ground. That'll head over toward first. Stokely grabs it, flips over. No, he will hold off Wilkinson, and he'll do it himself. Hunter Stokely, the big man, stumbles over to first base and is able to tag the bag. We head now to the top of the 6th inning. Mariners due up when we return. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. We welcome you back to Spillane Field. Tim Foley along with you, and for play-by-play duties across the final 2 innings here from Wareham, my broadcast partner, Devin Dobick. Devin.
Thank you, Tim. Gassetti's going to ground this one over to Hausinger at second, and it's a 1-pitch, 1-out for the new pitcher, Cameron Weston. Right-hander out of Michigan, pitched against the Mariners back when Wareham was able to get a 5-3 win. He's 1-0 on the season. He's thrown 7 innings, allowed the 3 hits, and 1 earned run with 7 strikeouts.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the second time Gassetti's grounded out on the first pitch to open up an inning. I believe back in the second it was on 1 pitch as well.
As Cole Harding, the hitter, he's 0 for 2 on the day, popped out to second and also struck out. Weston into his set, and the pitch. Misses outside, and it's going to be 1-1. The 1-1 just misses outside, 2-1, and Harding has not been on base today. Didn't get to play in game 1. A guy who has speed, been holding down center field for you most of the year, and if you can get him on, it would probably be likely he'd get moved over. Count is evened up at 2.
But you mentioned a good point last inning, or in between innings, Devin, is that the Mariners were able to get Tommy Seidel on second base with nobody away, and they could not get him home to tie the game. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. I mean, we see Tebow make a nice play, a little stab.
Spry as ever, Mark Tebow over at third. Impressive.
Count remains at 2, and yeah, you need to be able to capitalize on those opportunities, and they've done well of that today thus far, but that could be the difference maker here in game 2. 2-2 misses outside, and it's all loaded up. Big pitch coming up for Weston.
You talked about it. It was some good, consistent offense throughout this one. 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 more in the fourth. But that 5th inning is going to come back to haunt you if you cannot come back in this game.
And it misses. Cole Harding claps his hands as he draws a walk over to first base for the top of his order. David Smith coming in for his 4th at-bat of the game. He's 0 for 3, struck out looking a couple times, and he's also grounded out to second.
And that's now 3 straight games in which Cole Harding's been able to get onto first base. It feels like the offense is starting to click more. We're seeing more and more of these streaks here.
As first pitch Smith sees, he fouls off to the left, and it's 0-1. Smith and Padilla make up the middle infield for the Huskies. Smith the second baseman and Padilla the shortstop. Both playing that for their respective clubs. As the 0-1 misses outside, and it's evened up at 1. Smith really trying to get something going. Had a hit in game 1, but he'd really like to add to his campaign. Looks like another ball is going to escape over the wall there, and it's fired back into the bullpen. Shout out to Robertson helping out there.
Perhaps some gamesmanship from the Mariners.
As Smith awaits the 1-1 pitch. 1 out here and 1 on, and Cole Harding right through it. All gas and no combat for it. It's 1-2.
Yeah, tough to fall behind here if you're Smith to somebody in Weston who's already been finding success against Harwich this season. And he's already struck out twice as well, so it's not been the greatest day so far for him. Trying to lock it in.
Here it is. Just up. Thought about it. Didn't go. And it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good news is you do have Tommy Seidel on deck, and he has been one not easy to retire here today in either ball game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Weston's pitch fouled off towards the school, and we'll do it again. Temperature's definitely cooling off. We're left with a nice sticky sensation on our bodies here, Tim, from the heat.
Speak for yourself, Devin.
You mentioned it in the half inning. You can't even deny it. As there goes Smith down swinging, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, the humidity rolling in for sure. Of course, whenever you're playing a game in the Cape Cod Baseball League, you're never too far from water.
Now batting, the right fielder from Alabama. number
3rd
34,
strikeout of the day
Tommy
for Smith
Seidel.
brings up Tommy Seidel. Seidel on the day is 2 for 2. He's got a double, a single. He's swiped a base and also been hit by a pitch. As they'll take a look over at Harding, he's back in with the right hand safely. Seidel number 2 in the Mariners order. He'll be followed by Goodwin and Vetrano. Whether it's this inning or next, we're still waiting to find out. Just a 7-inning ball game. We are in 6 right now. Has that one in there. Tough one, and it's 0-2. Weston taking his time, looks over at the runner, 0-1, excuse me. And there it is. In there, now that's strike 2. Manifested it, I guess. Harding staying put at first, still no movement from him. Seidel trying to be the one that provides that push. Time is granted. Weston will step off. And there goes Harding. The pitch in the dirt. The throw down is it going to be in time? Hausinger had the tag. It is. They throw out Cole Harding. Nice tag by Jack Hausinger. And that will be out number 3. Side is retired, but Tommy Seidel will get to lead off next inning. We take a quick break, go to the bottom half of the 6th. Don't go anywhere on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Number 7. Callum
Welcome
Clark.
back. Bottom of the 6th. Drew Conover, the call to the bullpen. As night is over for Wilkinson. We'll get his line in just a moment. But for Conover, transferring over to Rutgers, he comes in for the Mariners in his 4th appearance. Has not allowed a run through 5 1/3. He's struck out 6 and allowed just 2 hits. He's been solid for them. They've been very reliant on him. As first pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Yeah, the line for Wilkinson looked like this. 2 complete, didn't allow a hit, run, walk, struck out 3. Really impressive stuff from him and Sharkey coming in relief for Scotty.
1-0. Broken bat goes out to the pitcher's mound, but Smith makes the play and fires onto first for out number 1. Kind of a funky sequence there. Kellum Clark just shatters it.
You did that.
Now batting, designated hitter
It'll be Max Anderson now.
15, Max
He's
Anderson.
singled and scored and also grounded out to third. See what he can do here against the former Seton Hall Pirate. He just left there. He had a 2-2 record with a 6.28 ERA for the Pirates. Native of Pittstown, New Jersey, and North Hunterdon High School. 0-1. Misses the outside corner, and it's a ball and a strike.
And again, Conover, he's got that interesting delivery where he'll stay pretty upright, does not lean over too much once he's through his delivery, and he really just whips that arm around.
This one's lifted out to right field. That'll be down, and it gets all the way to the wall. Seidel picks it up. Heading into second is Max Anderson, and he's upstanding. It's a one-out double for him, and the gateman with a chance to tack on an insurance run.
Yeah, Anderson just is able to push this one the opposite way. The righty standing in, sends it out to right field. Pretty close to the line, too. A tough chase for Tommy Seidel as he nearly tears his own arm out, trying to rip that thing into second base to get the ball back in. And so, as you said, Devin, man on second now for Wareham, threatening to extend their lead with just one away in the inning.
Jack Hausinger climbs in. One out for him. He's looking to do damage. Mariners have really kept him in check. He's flied out to right twice in this ballgame, and he was 0 for 4 in game 1. One and 0 is the count. Conover takes his time on the mound and delivers. In there for a strike, and it's evened up at 1. So nice piece of hitting for Max Anderson, the designated hitter. He's in scoring position. Hausinger definitely due for some sort of knock, as it's 2-1 to him now. Conover trying to make it a clean inning, so Mariners have 2, 3, 4 due up in their lineup in the bottom half of the top half of the last inning. Hausinger right through that one, and he's now down to his last strike, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has to be the consolation prize for Cole Harding getting caught over at second, is that you do get Seidel, Goodwin, Vetrano right in order to open up the 7th.
2-2. Chopped up the middle. It's going to be fielded by Goodwin. He's going to have to make a good throw. It's in time. Wow. What a great play by Nick Goodwin. Hausinger can't believe it. He's outraged over there.
Yeah, Nick Goodwin just charged at that ball. It did not have a lot on it. A little dribbler back up the middle that Goodwin was able to drive in at and make the throw on to first, and Stokely able to lean in just enough to be able to make the catch and is able to make it close enough to be called an out. So it's now 2 away here in the top half of the, or rather bottom half of the 6th.
Yeah, a tough break for Hausinger there. He's been trucked by Liam Sullivan, and now he gets rung up on a 50-50 play. 0-1 from the pitcher Conover. The batter is Derek Fabian. He was hit by a pitch and scored back in the 2nd. He's also punched out, and he lifts this one out to center field. Newell is in the area, and he puts it away for out number 3. We head to the 7th inning. Mariners looking for a little late inning magic. We'll see the answer when we come back on the other side of the break on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Top of the 7th inning, Devin Doback, Tim Foley with you for the 14th inning of baseball today. And this will be the last. Tommy Seidel due up to start things here for Harwich. His at-bat was postponed after Cole Harding was gunned down at second base. Tommy has been on base all 3 times, been up here in game 2. Trying to make it 4. He would represent the tying run for the Mariners. He leaves that first pitch for ball 1.
Yeah, there's nobody you'd rather have up the bat right now than Tommy Seidel. 3 extra base hits across his 2 games played here today. He's been on a tear.
As the 1-0 is in there at the knees to even it up. Cam Weston back out there after a makeshift 1-2-3-6 with the help of his catcher and Campos gunning out Harding. Here comes the 1-1 delivery. Down at the feet, and it's 2-1. Gateman lead by 1, 6-5 here in the 7th inning. Trying to hang on, produce a split here. Harwich trying to go back over the bridge with a pair of W's and 4 points. It's 2-2 now to Tommy Seidel. He'll take his time getting back into the box. Big at-bat here. The pitch. He lines this one into center field. That will be a 3-hit ball game for Tommy Seidel. He is impossible to get out. Holy cow, he gets the train moving with a leadoff single in the 7th frame.
Have a day, Tommy. Wow, how about it? I mean, just unbelievable. He's seeing the ball like it's nobody's business. Comes into Harwich out of Alabama. He's trying to find a way to get hits early in the season, manages to get on here and there, and just look at what he's been able to do here today and across his past few games on an unbelievable tear here for Harwich, and comes in clutch in the biggest at-bat of the season for him.
Nick Goodwin, the batter now, as we'll see how aggressive they are with the base runner in Tommy Seidel. He's already stolen a base tonight, but it's kind of the idea that the whole world thinks he's going to run, so you got to be very careful. Campos a strong arm. Bounced in the dirt, and it'll be a ball and a strike.
And just very quickly to give you an update on what the day looked like across the Cape Cod Baseball League. YD came away with 4 points, as did Brewster. And then each Chatham and Orleans only came away with 1. So you're already making up some ground if you're Harwich, but you want to be able to keep pace with the top of the division. So important is being able to come through in this 7th inning.
1-1 is cut on and missed. Delayed steal. There goes Seidel. The ball wasn't in Hausinger's glove, and they are going to rule Seidel safe. He was out by a mile, but Hausinger just lost the ball in his glove. And nonetheless, he gets in there safely without a slide, jumping over the tag. That could be a game-changing play. Count is 1-2.
Just unbelievable what Tommy Seidel's doing. I mean, interestingly enough, it didn't look like a full hustle down the line. It was a foul tip. I wasn't sure if he was sure to make his way down to second still, but he then made his way to the bag. Unfortunately enough, it was dropped by Hausinger, and he's finding himself the tying run, safe on second.
1-2. Weston sets and delivers. Goodwin chops it foul. It goes out of play.
And so now here we are again. Identical situation to the 5th inning. Tommy Seidel, a leadoff single. He's able to steal second base. Nick Goodwin's up to bat. Nobody's out in the inning. Can Harwich capitalize this time around?
Only time will tell here in the 7th inning. Looking for a little magic. Nick Goodwin trying to move him to third and beyond any way he can. The pitch. Outside, 2-2. Joe Vitrano awaits on deck. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Everybody hanging out here. It's been a long day of baseball. We left the Harwich Dennis area where all the interns are around 12:30, and it's now 8:30. All about to come to a close. And the pitch. Outside. And it is a full count now to Nick Goodwin. Huge pitch coming up.
Behind in the count early, Goodwin battles back a couple of really clutch takes as he's able to work the count back full and really force the issue here for Cameron Weston.
Very tense atmosphere, a little wind blowing in, setting the scene as the lights are on here at Spillane Field. Here comes the payoff. Goodwin lifts this one out to right field, giving chases Clark, and he comes down with a catch, but tagging and over to third easily is Tommy Seidel. So Nick Goodwin does his job with a sac fly to deep right field, and now with 1 out, Joe Vitrano, the batter, and a chance to tie this thing.
And that's what you needed with Seidel on second if you're Harwich this time around. You're getting a very quality at-bat from Goodwin as he's right up to bat as Seidel's standing on second. You're able to advance him around to third. So huge to be able to actually move the batter along. So now with just 1 away, another sac fly can potentially get the job done here for Harwich.
Here's Vitrano. Last time out, he walked and stole a base.
Although I can tell you, Joe Vitrano's looking for more than a sac fly.
He's big cut through that one. That was the swing you were talking about, and it's 0-1. Vitrano, the New York native, goes to Boston College. Now he's got a chance here in the Cape League to tie this thing up and try and get the Mariners closer to a point and maybe more. 0-1 the count. Seidel on third. He takes his lead off. And the pitch. Vitrano slaps this one, but foul over to the right. It gets out of play. And now it'll be 0-2.
He had a good piece of that one. Barreled it up, but just couldn't keep it straight. Got to be defensive here down in the count like this.
Kenny Lavari is on deck. Vitrano down on the count 0-2. There it is. He fouls it off, putting together a nice fight here. He's got all kinds of family in the house. We saw him talking with them pregame. Probably a tense moment for him here in the clutch.
Oh, I would imagine so here. Biggest at-bat for him of the season, certainly so. Get to a late inning situation like this. Goodwin was able to do his job moving along Seidel. Next man up.
No balls and 2 strikes is outside. It's 1-2. One away here in the 7th. Seems like every second is a few minutes, just going by so slowly here. Every pitch means so much. 1-2 delivery. Vetrano foul tips it into Campos's mitt, and that will be out number 2. A huge strikeout for Weston, and now a ball in play does not necessarily score the runner. It's going to be Kenny Lavari with the last life for Harwich.
But hey, not a bad guy to have up in this situation if you're Harwich. We've talked about it, Lavari, a 5-game hitting streak. He's been unbelievable for the Mariners across his past few, including one earlier here today in this second game, as well as one back in game 2. And so he's going to have to come in once again with another base hit to try to get Harwich at least a point out of this one.
First pitch to Lavari. He fouls over our heads for strike 1. Lavari singled. That was all the way back in the first inning. Since then, he's grounded out to third and struck out swinging. He definitely was frustrated after that punch out. That was that inning, as you were talking about, that started with Seidel on first. And nobody down, as Shapiro going to make his way out. Is he going to make a move here? No indication yet. He just wants to talk things over with his men, it appears. Very rare. Typically, as we were talking to Alex and Cam pregame, the Wareham broadcasters, they said Shapiro only comes out to make changes, but it seems like with an 0-1 count, 2 outs in the last inning, he just wants to talk them through these next few pitches as the home plate umpire on his way to break this up. Looks like they are going to stick with Weston. So here we go.
A few wise words from Harvey Shapiro have gone a long way time and time again. We'll see what they're able to do here to Weston's benefit.
It'll be Seidel on third with 2 away. Kenny Lavari, the Harwich third baseman, trying to tie up this ball game. That one bounced in the dirt. Seidel forced to stay. A nice stop by Campos. Very tense atmosphere here at Spillane Field, both sides. Both 90 feet away from one extreme or another, as that one is in for strike 2, and the Mariners are down to their last strike.
Yeah, nice pitch that was able to find the zone from Weston, and now he's got himself 1 away from locking up this second game for the Gateman.
1-2. Weston to his set. He delivers down at the feet, and it's 2-2.
Easy take there for Lavari. Not much that was appealing about that one out of the hand of Weston.
Do it, kid. Big knock, Kenny, big knock here.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 away. The Old Dominion University product trying to extend it. The pitch. Upstairs, it's worked full. Hunter Stokely on deck.
Let's go, Kenny.
Lavari's at bat, not over yet though. He's tied 3-2 with the pitcher in Weston, and the delivery swings and misses, and the Gatemen win the ball game. It didn't seem for a while like they were going to be able to pull it out, but they do. They take 2 points here from the Harwich Mariners in Game 2. It's a doubleheader split, 6-5 the final. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back on the Mariners post-game show, we'll break down Game 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Harwich Mariners post-game show. Game 2 has concluded here. The final score is the Gatemen 6 and the Mariners 5. Kind of a wild game, but I think that what you have to look at are two specific things if you're the Mariners. It's the big second inning in which the Gatemen were able to tally 6 runs on the back of a Ryan Campos grand slam off Wyatt Scotty. He struggled tonight, just went the 1 1/3, and yeah, he got shelled for 6 runs. That was a huge turning point. And then the other thing is Tommy Seidel on base, on second base with nobody away twice. Carbon copies in the 5th and the 7th, and they're unable to get him around to tie the ball game. But other than those two things, it was a pretty good team game, Tim.
Yeah, I thought so. You know, the offense was there on a consistent basis across the first 4 innings, scored in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th. But then, of course, just the glaring thing here is that twice you got Tommy Seidel to second base with no outs, as you put it, Devin, and you just couldn't bring him home. And a one-run game like this where you were down so big to open it up, of course, you were up by 2 to start, but then you fell behind by 4 after that 6-run second. When you find yourself in a spot just down by 1 after all of that, and you get the tying run to third, it really hurts to be able to come so far back, but not all the way, as again twice the Mariners left the tying run on third across the final 3 innings of the game. That's going to hurt, but what still feels good is that they were able to come out in game 1 today, and off the back of an excellent performance from Liam Sullivan, who was really able to push on the mound today, they're able to split the doubleheader here today.
Yeah, you'll take the 2 points, although you wanted more, and it stinks because you out-hit Wareham 8-5, and a clean game for both sides. No errors throughout the doubleheader in 14 innings, so, you know, at the end of the day, there are positives to take from it. So, without further ado, that will be it. It'll be an off day tomorrow. The teams will get some rest after the doubleheader, but on Tuesday, it'll be the YD Red Sox blowing into Harwich for the 3rd game in that 6-game set. And should be a good one. They're the top team in the East Division right now, Tim.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting game. And look, I would say that if Harwich is able to carry the brand of baseball that they played here today against Wareham through the rest of the season, this team's going to do fine. Because you could really feel and maybe it's just because we were parked right on top of the dugout here today, but you could really feel it from this team, how they were getting into the game late in the 2nd game when they were close to coming back, couldn't quite make it all the way, but they were really fighting throughout the entirety of the 2nd game, right after they went down big, to be able to come back and try to pull this one out. So if Harwich is able to take that team mentality that they had in game 2 and put it together with the kind of dominance that they were able to exert in game 1, this is a Harwich team that should be feeling confident as they head through the rest of their schedule here, as we are now a few games past the quarter mark of the 2022 CCBL season.
Yeah, and you know, especially considering there was the 5 guys that just left for Team USA, and you come in and you put together a pretty good couple team games without those new guys. You got to tip your hat to him. Chris Newell, the 2-run blast here today. That was fun. But that about wraps up our broadcast here. So we got Tuesday at YD. But until then, on behalf of all of our media team, Tim Foley and myself, Devin Dobek, thank you for joining the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. And always remember to live the dream.